Most people think grapefruit diets were just 1980s marketing nonsense. But the science today tells us a completely different story. That story begins with a food developed for astronauts in space, and it ends with the most calorie-dense food on this list. Here is what nobody talks about when it comes to weight loss. The foods that actually work are not the trendy ones. They are the ones with real human clinical trials behind them. Today, I am giving you 10 foods with genuine science. 2 of them will completely surprise you and change everything. The first one was originally created for soldiers and astronauts. The second one was debunked in the 1980s as a diet fad. But both now have strong evidence supporting their fat-burning effects. My name is Dr. Mike, and I am a medical doctor. I am also a pro-natural bodybuilder and a research scientist. My team has helped thousands of people reverse their blood biomarkers. We get them into the best shape of their lives. Stick around until the very end of this entire video. The last food on this list is the most calorie-dense, and I personally use it every single day without any hesitation. Let us get straight into the research without any more delay. Number 1 is spirulina, and this surprises people the most. Spirulina is a blue-green microalgae that grows in freshwater lakes. It sounds like something you would scrape off a pond bottom. But NASA developed it as food for astronauts in outer space. The military also looked at it as survival food for soldiers. It is incredibly nutritionally dense, which is why they chose it. Around 60 to 70% of spirulina is pure protein. That makes it one of the most protein-dense foods on Earth. That protein content suppresses hunger through a very specific hormone. It triggers peptide YY, which travels from your gut upward. That hormone tells your brain to stop searching for more food. But spirulina does something even more important beyond just protein. It contains an active compound called phycocyanin, which gives it color. That pigment is what gives spirulina its distinctive blue-green shade. Research shows phycocyanin interferes with immune cells called macrophages directly. Those macrophages are the ones that infiltrate your deep visceral fat. Visceral fat wraps around your organs and drives chronic inflammation. It also drives insulin resistance and slows your metabolism significantly. When macrophages move into that fat, they create a vicious cycle. That cycle makes losing weight progressively harder over time. Spirulina appears to interrupt that destructive inflammatory cycle completely. This is not just a theory without any supporting research evidence. There is actually a meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials. That means researchers looked at all the best available studies together. They found spirulina reduced body weight and body fat percentage significantly. It also lowered BMI in overweight and obese adults consistently. I need to be completely honest about spirulina and its effects. Spirulina will not magically melt your body fat away overnight, but adding it daily to a caloric deficit supports fat loss. It works at a hormonal and cellular level unlike almost anything. Very few other foods or supplements can do what spirulina does. Here is how I want you to incorporate this powerful superfood. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons of spirulina powder to your smoothie. Use a strong flavored fruit like mango or pineapple to mask it. Those fruits will hide the earthy taste that spirulina has. Start with half a teaspoon if you are completely new to it. Build up gradually as your taste buds adjust over time. You can find spirulina powder or tablets at any pharmacy. Health food shops and Amazon also carry this supplement regularly. If that changed how you look at superfoods, give a thumbs up. That tells me you enjoy this level of detailed research. Stay with me because food number 2 is even more surprising. This is something most people stopped eating 30 years ago. We were told it was completely debunked as a diet food. But the research today is telling us an entirely different story. Number 2 is grapefruit, which carries a lot of baggage historically. Most people associate grapefruit with that 1980s fat diet trend. They assume the whole thing was just marketing nonsense, basically, and we all moved on without giving it a second thought. But here is what is actually happening with grapefruit research. The early claims were wildly overstated and not based in science. People said grapefruit contained a magic enzyme that burned fat. That part was never true and was completely made-up marketing. Underneath that exaggeration, however, there was something real hiding. Grapefruit contains a compound called naringenin, which is quite powerful. It is a flavonoid found in citrus fruits like grapefruit and oranges. Naringenin does something that most foods simply cannot accomplish effectively. It activates two proteins called PPAR-alpha and PPAR-gamma directly. These act like master switches for how your body stores fat. They also determine how efficiently your body burns fuel. When those switches are turned on, your body burns more fat. Your body leans toward using fat for energy rather than storing. Naringenin also improves your insulin sensitivity in a meaningful way. Your body handles the storage hormone insulin more efficiently overall. Less glucose gets shuttled into your body as fat tissue. There is a randomized controlled trial that was placebo-controlled properly. Participants ate half a fresh grapefruit before each of 3 meals. They did this every single day for 12 consecutive weeks. The grapefruit group lost significantly more weight than the placebo group. They also improved their insulin resistance markers quite substantially. For people who already had metabolic syndrome, the effect was stronger. I have to be honest about grapefruit and its medication interactions. Grapefruit interacts with a long list of prescription medications today. It interacts with statins and blood pressure medications as well. It also interacts with some blood thinners and other common drugs. This tells you how powerful the compounds in grapefruit are. If you take any prescription medications, check with your doctor first. Do not start eating grapefruit regularly without medical clearance. Here is what to do if your doctor gives you approval. Have half a grapefruit as part of your breakfast each morning. Eat it alongside your protein source for a balanced meal. The naringenin is most concentrated in the white pith underneath. Eat as much of that pith as you can possibly stomach. If the bitterness is too much, add a tiny bit of honey. Use honey rather than sugar to keep insulin response minimal. Number 3 is salmon, and it makes this list for 3 reasons. The first reason is probably not the one you are thinking. Yes, salmon contains omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential fats. Your body cannot make these fats on its own at all. You can only get them from the food that you eat. But here is why this matters specifically for fat loss. Chronic inflammation is the low-level kind quietly persisting for months. It is one of the most underrated barriers to losing fat. It disrupts the hormones that regulate your hunger and fullness. It also blunts how well your body responds to insulin, and it signals your body to hold on to fat stores. Human studies consistently show omega-3s lower inflammatory markers effectively. Those markers are the ones that quietly encourage fat storage. The second reason salmon belongs on this list is protein content. A 100-gram serving of salmon gives you 25 grams protein. That is roughly 200 calories for all that nutrition. That protein triggers the same hunger-suppressing hormone we discussed. It will keep you full for hours after you finish eating. The third reason nobody talks about online is iodine content. Only Dr. Mike is bringing you this information today. Salmon is one of the best dietary sources of iodine available. Your thyroid is the butterfly-shaped gland in your neck area. It sets your entire metabolic rate for your whole body. Your thyroid cannot function without adequate iodine intake consistently. Many people in Western countries are quietly low on iodine. A thyroid that is short on iodine makes less hormone. That hormone decides how fast or slow you burn energy. One piece of salmon reduces inflammation and suppresses hunger simultaneously. It gives your muscles protein and feeds your thyroid gland. That gland then turns your metabolism up all at once. Eat 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish every single week. If you do not want salmon, choose mackerel or sardines instead. Herring is also an excellent alternative to salmon. Choose wild salmon over farmed salmon wherever you possibly can. The omega-3 content in wild salmon is much higher naturally. Number 4 is green tea, and it has been on every list. But almost nobody understands the specific reason why it belongs. It is not just antioxidants in some vague general sense. Green tea works through 2 specific compounds that act together. Those compounds are EGCG and caffeine working as a team. EGCG is a plant compound called catechin, found in tea leaves. On its own, it does very little for fat burning, actually. But paired together with caffeine, it does something quite special. It blocks the enzyme that normally breaks down noradrenaline in your body. Noradrenaline is the signal molecule that tells your body. It tells your body to use fat as an energy source. When you block the enzyme that breaks that signal down, the signal to release and burn fat stays switched on longer. Human studies link that catechin and caffeine combination to modest effects. They show small but real improvements in calorie burning rates. They also show improvements in fat oxidation during exercise. Drink 2 to 3 cups of green tea every single day. Ideally, have it before a training session for maximum effect. Brew it at around 80 degrees rather than using boiling water. Water that is too hot can damage the catechins we want. Number 5 is chili peppers and their active compound capsaicin. Capsaicin is what gives chili peppers their signature burning heat. It creates heat by triggering temperature receptors in your body. Your body thinks it is warming up and responds appropriately. It increases thermogenesis, which burns more calories to produce heat. I need to be honest about the effects of capsaicin here. The effects are relatively small in terms of calorie burning. Adding chili to your meals might burn an extra 50 calories. That is not dramatic, but it does add up over time. But capsaicin does something arguably even more useful than burning calories. It can actually blunt your appetite in a meaningful way. Human studies show eating chili reduces how much you eat later. Adding chili to a meal reduces intake at the following meal. Add fresh or dried chili to as many meals as possible. Cayenne pepper is a more practical form to use daily. Half a teaspoon gives you a meaningful dose without overwhelming heat. Let me know in the comments which food you will add. This tells me if I should make a part 2 video. Number 6 is avocados, which most people avoid on diets. People avoid avocados because they are high in fat content. But that is the wrong way to think about this fruit. Avocado is high in monounsaturated fat like olive oil contains. This fat behaves completely differently than saturated fat does. It improves how well your body responds to insulin overall. It lowers LDL cholesterol, which is tied to arterial plaque. There is controlled trial evidence supporting avocado for fat loss. Swapping a daily avocado for refined carbs shifts fat storage. One research paper showed a drop in deep visceral fat. That effect was specifically seen in women who ate avocados. Avocado is one of the highest fiber fruits you can eat. A single avocado carries around 10 to 13 grams of fiber. That fiber slows down your digestion and stretches fullness signals. It also feeds the good gut bacteria in your microbiome. Those bacteria help regulate your hunger hormones effectively. This is not a food to fear during fat loss at all. It is a food that will work for you over time. As long as it replaces refined carbs not added on top. Replace refined carbs in one meal with half an avocado. Add it to your toast with eggs in the morning instead. Number 7 is chia seeds, which are incredibly efficient for satiety. 2 tablespoons run about 140 calories total. That serving gives you roughly 10 grams of fiber and 5 protein. Most of that fiber is soluble fiber, which dissolves in water. That soluble fiber forms a gel when it hits liquid. Here is the part that does the real work here. When chia seeds hit liquid, they swell dramatically in size. They expand to around 12 times their original size. That gel sits in your gut and slows everything down. Glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually as a result. Your stomach empties more slowly, and you stay fuller longer. You stay full longer than with the same calories from low-fiber foods. Chia is also a great plant source of anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Stir 2 tablespoons of chia seeds into Greek yogurt or oats. You can also add them to your morning smoothie easily. Let them sit for 10 to 15 minutes to form gel. That gel is very satisfying and will fill you up. Number 8 is cinnamon, and it is the most underrated food. Most people think of cinnamon as just a flavoring and nothing else. But cinnamon contains an active compound called cinnamaldehyde behind that taste. That compound is what gives cinnamon its smell and flavor. Cinnamaldehyde improves your insulin sensitivity in a meaningful way. Remember that insulin decides where your glucose goes after eating. When your body responds well, insulin sends glucose to muscle. That glucose gets used as fuel instead of being stored as fat. When your body does not respond well, glucose gets stored. Cinnamon improves that response, so more fuel goes to muscle. It also slows how fast your stomach empties after meals. This flattens the glucose spike after a carb-heavy meal. Number 9 is ginger, used in traditional Asian medicine for centuries. Unlike some traditional remedies, there is actual human evidence here. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogiols that are active. Those compounds are the source of that sharp, spicy bite. They do 2 useful things in your body for fat loss. First, they are thermogenic and raise your body temperature slightly. They increase energy expenditure similar to capsaicin from chili peppers. Second, they reduce chronic inflammation, which blocks fat loss. We keep talking about inflammation throughout this entire video. Chronic inflammation is one of the most direct hormonal barriers. A meta-analysis of human trials found ginger reduced body weight. It also reduced waist-to-hip ratio in overweight individuals. It reduced hip circumference in obese individuals consistently. That combination of thermogenesis and anti-inflammatory action is powerful. Ginger has 2 mechanisms working together, which makes it special. Grate fresh ginger onto your meals for the best effect. Add fresh ginger to your smoothies and to your teas. Use a thumb-sized piece grated into hot water with lemon. This makes a simple morning drink with real gingerols. Ground ginger powder can also work if fresh is unavailable. Half a teaspoon added to smoothies or oats does a good job. Now I am considering putting together a full cooking video. I would include all of these ingredients in entire meals. Let me know in the comments if you want that video. Say, Dr. Mike, make the 5 superfood meal video, please. Then I will do that for you guys, I promise. I will combine these foods and make a cooking show. Number 10 is extra virgin olive oil, and it is calorie-dense. It is the most calorie-dense food on this entire list. 1 tablespoon runs about 120 calories total. Putting this in a fat loss video sounds completely backwards, but it carries some serious weight pun intended here. The compounds packed into it are powerfully metabolic supporting. The main fat in olive oil is called oleic acid specifically. It is a monounsaturated fat that improves insulin resistance. It has been shown to switch on genes that promote fat burning. Your body gets better at using stored fat for fuel. What sets extra virgin olive oil apart from regular versions? It contains a compound called oleocanthal, which is quite remarkable. It is a natural anti-inflammatory that works through enzyme pathways. It works through the same enzyme pathway as ibuprofen medication. Chronic inflammation quietly drags down fat loss at hormonal level. Anything that lowers inflammation builds a better fat loss environment. I use extra virgin olive oil as my main cooking source. I use it as a base on my salads and dressings. I add it to my sauces for flavor and health benefits. It replaces worse fat sources like refined seed oils. It supports my metabolic environment for fat loss over time. Replace refined vegetable oils in cooking with extra virgin olive oil. Use it as the base for dressings with lemon and garlic. Buy cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil for the best quality. It should come in a dark bottle, away from light. That protects the compound oleocanthal from breaking down. Those are 10 foods with real human evidence behind them. Not miracles and not magic fat burners at all. Just tools that generally support fat loss consistently. They improve your hormonal levels and metabolic function. They help you get into a caloric deficit more easily. If you want me to turn this into a full cooking video, comment below. Dr. Mike, make 5 superfood meals, please. I will do that for you if enough people request it. If you want to work with me and my team directly, check the first link in the description below this video. If you enjoy these types of videos, give a thumbs up. And as I always say, keep putting 1 foot forward, especially when you do not feel like doing it at all. That is when the real progress happens in your journey. Every small step adds up to massive transformation over time.